everybody. All right. Welcome to this afternoon edition of the Maximum Overdrive Third Gear. I am Maximum Black. Shout out to I Am Lucy. I'm a squid. I'm a shellback. I crossed the international date line too. I hated that shit, man. The ceremony, I got sick during the damn ceremony. Oh, nasty ass garbage chute. What's up, Naima Buckner? What's going on, Sugar Bee Chronicles? Yeah, so before we get into today's topic from the Earthen Nation called conflict resolution, I want to talk about a few things first before I get started. Man, there are some crazy folks on YouTube. Somebody need to send out these people who bring straight jackets. They need to be online watching shit because these niggas, wow. I've never seen so many mental problems and emotional problems in my entire life. You're talking about someone who's traveled the world, you know, both in this country and outside this country. I've never seen so many problems. I mean, there are people online right now who you just can't talk to. They can't be talked to. There's nothing. They talk for long periods of time, you know, and then when you say 2 or 3 words, they cut you back off. And then when you say, wait a minute, I'm talking, then they're telling you, you talk for too long. How the hell do you talk for 25 minutes straight? Then somebody jumps in and says 3 words, you cut them off, but when they tell you, you interrupted them, and then you tell them that they've been talking for a long time. I mean, what the hell what is that? Anybody a psychologist in here? Because what is it? What do you call that? Is there some kind of psychological term for that? Because if it is, I would like to know what it is so I can start using it. How the hell do you talk for 25 minutes straight? And not just one time, all the time. I mean, we all get a little long-winded every now and then, but not all the time. I mean, I'm like that. You know, sometimes I might get on a little subject that I know something about, and I might get a little long-winded, but hell, not all the time. I mean, I was talking to a dude the other day, and when he started talking, I hit my stopwatch, okay? The time that I tried to interject him to get a word in, it was at the 27-minute mark. And then when I proceeded to try to say something, he interrupted me back. And I said, hey, dude, you've been talking for a while. You interrupted me. He talking about, well, you said, you're the one that was talking for a long time. And that blew my mind. I'm like, did he just say that? You know, I was watching these guys on a panel, right? And one dude up there said, I like to talk. So he went on talking and talking and talking. Then when somebody asked him, now he talked for a long period of time. I'm talking about 25, 30. Hell, altogether, he must have been talking about 45, 50 minutes. Right? All this talking. You say you like to talk, right? But when somebody asks him, does he have a job? He stopped talking. Didn't answer the question, just stopped talking. You can hear a rat pissing on cotton. And then when you try to ask him, he didn't want to have nothing else to do with talking after he was asked if he had a job. No more talking. After a while, he got the hell off the panel. Got quiet as a mouse. Say, hey, man, you've been doing all of this talking about economics and stuff like that, but do you have a job? Whoop. Got to the point where you forgot he was on a damn panel. Didn't want to say nothing. Didn't want to engage anybody in anything. All of a sudden, he didn't like to talk anymore. Now, this is the same guy that said he liked to talk. But as soon as he was asked if he had a damn job, he stopped talking, and all of a sudden, he didn't like to talk anymore. I wonder what is the medical term for that? What do you want to call that? And then you have people who thinks that everybody just wants to hear them. I sat back and just watched this stuff, you know. You got people who thinks that everybody just wants to hear them talk and don't want to hear anyone else talk. And because they think that, they talk as if they're entitled to talk all day. And then if there's any interruption, they catch an attitude. There's something wrong with you for interrupting them talking for about 30, 40 minutes. And I'm not exaggerating, people. I can literally point these, well, I won't do it, but I can point these people out to you. Some of you already know who they are. And then you got, of course, you got some lunatic on here thinking that he's the only one that tells the truth. Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that, Damon, 23. I'm gonna start cutting certain people and not allow them to be on the panel because they just talk too damn much and it's too much conflict with other people on the panel who want to have or engage in a discussion as well. Okay? Either something is broken in their mind or they're doing it on purpose, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna start telling people straight up, look, you come on this panel, we want to hear everybody talk. We don't just want to hear you talk for long periods of time. Unless we're asking you for a presentation. If we're not asking you for a presentation, then we don't want to hear you go on some long ass diatribe. Because after a while, you aren't talking about anything. It takes a very skilled person, an intelligent person, to stay on a topic for 30 and 40 minutes. Just off the top of their head. Usually people like that are called lecturers. You know, when they can talk about something for a long period of time because they have a whole thing written down. And yeah, I'm gonna start doing that, Damon 23. It's just too much of it going on. You want to do all of that, then go in the chat room and type up a storm. Don't come on the panel with all this long-winded shit. But the guy who was talking, who said he liked to talk, I found it very interesting when he was asked if he had any employment. He stopped talking. I mean, they couldn't get a word out of him after that. Like, hey, dude, why did you stop talking all of a sudden? It was just a simple question. Do you have a job? He didn't want to talk. But before that, he was going on for about 40 minutes. But anyway, I digress. Let me get into my topic. Conflict resolution. You know, this is one of the reasons why the United States is what it is right now. It's because of conflict resolution. But, you know, back in the day, there was a lot of infighting going on, a lot of civil wars happening. It wasn't just a civil war in one place. There was a lot of little small civil wars going on within different counties and towns and things like that. So in order to unite all of the states together, you know, the government, you know, they had to engage in conflict resolution to bring the Civil War to an end and all of this other stuff so they can maintain power. Black people need to adopt the same model. We need to start settling our conflicts. We have too much conflict and not nearly enough resolution. And the conflict seems to be getting worse. It's ramping up. Well, we have to understand our enemy sees us as one people. They don't give a damn who's fighting, who's infighting with each other. They don't care anything about that. When they're ready to fire guns at us, they're firing them at all of us, even the coons. The coons are going to get it too. See, because you have to understand, when you side with an enemy against your own people, they don't have any use for you. You're a piece of shit traitor. Why would they want you to be a part of them? They don't trust you. And that's what a lot of these coons don't understand. They think that they're going to be honorary trustees, that we all get wiped out. No, what you're going to be is target practice when you outlive your usefulness. That's what you're going to be. And you're going to be burned at the stake while you're still alive. These people are capable of some of the most brutal savagery that you can research. I saw a clip where they burned a black man alive in the middle of a town while he was burned them to a crisp, to the point where parts of his body was still lit up red hot. And when you look at the crowd that had gathered around to watch this, they were savage white folks who even had their children out there watching. And they were cheering, and basically what they did was they had this poor Negro tied on a rope that they had hung around a tree. And they kept lowering him down into the fire and bringing him back up, lowering him back down and bringing him back up, burnt him to a crisp. Now, when you see things like that, it kind of makes you wonder, how can somebody side with people that have a savage nature like that? Well, I'll tell you, they get confused, they become scared, and they start talking crazy. They start talking about white supremacy don't exist. Racism doesn't exist. Start saying black people pull yourself up by your bootstraps, which is a racist white talking point, because pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, that is an impossibility. There is no pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. So what I see right now with us, especially on social media, it's a lot of conflict and not enough resolution. Now, resolution isn't easy because you may feel a certain way about people. There's some people out there that are black that I absolutely cannot stand. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not very good at resolution. I'm pretty good at conflict, but not very good at resolution. I have to, get better in that area myself. But it's something that if I want us to move forward as a people, I have to start getting better at. We all need to start getting better at resolution because at the end of the day, we're fighting each other. We're hurting each other. We're out here doxing each other, putting each other's families at risk. Understand when we're fighting each other, our enemy doesn't take a break. If we are fighting each other, our enemy is still fighting us too. So the doxing and the hurting each other's families, that just plays right into the hands of our enemy. Because remember, he hasn't stopped fighting. He's not sitting by waiting his turn while we fight each other. He's not sitting over there eating some popcorn, having a jelly donut, drinking some soda pop, talking about, man, I can't wait to get my turn at these Negroes. No. While we are fighting each other, he is fighting us still. Yes, they do. Real people who think in real time with common sense will never trust a person that turns on their race. They will never accept you. I don't care what they tell you. They can feed you all kinds of BS. They can give you a house. Understand this. The white man doesn't care anything about giving you money because it's his money. He can take it back whenever he wants. You see, your name, your picture, your likeness isn't on that dollar bill. That dollar bill belongs to the white man. He's the one that prints it. You don't print money. That's his money. He holds all of the keys to that money. He can take it away from you anytime he wants. And when he allows you to make it, you're just using it. That's all. I don't care if you have $1 billion. It's not your money. It belongs to the white man. And anytime he feels like it, he can take it away from you. He can take every dime away from you because it belongs to him. If it were your money, he wouldn't be able to do that. If it was your currency, he wouldn't be able to do that. But it is not your currency. It is his currency. He owns the mints. He brings in the resources that creates this money. He prints it. He mills it. He prints it. Every single dime belongs to him. Not one dime belongs to you. I don't give a fuck what you got in your bank account. Understand something. Even though you got a lot of money in the bank account, who owns the banks? And even if you put your money in the black bank, who are they subject by? What control are they under? They're under the government. They're under the laws made by who? You don't control or own any damn thing in this country. If that motherfucker wants to come and get the shirt you're wearing right now, he will come and get it. You could be walking down the street, if that motherfucker decided the shirt you're wearing, he can get some money off, but he will come snatch that motherfucker right off your back. And he'll tell you, give me my shirt. See, you don't own anything. You don't have anything. Many of us don't make our own clothes. We don't print our own money. We don't make our own products. So we don't have a say-so in the matter. White man can come do to you whatever the hell he want to do to you because you're using all of his shit. He can't do that to the Asian man, though. Asian man got his own shit going on. The Asian man produces too much shit. White man ain't got no choice but to respect him and let him have a certain enclave. He can't fuck with that Asian man. The Asian man will tell him, yo, you can take your currency and stick it up your ass. I don't need your currency. Asian man produces too much shit. He can't fuck with that Asian man. Black people don't produce anything. Not anything worthwhile. Not anything that's competing. Yeah, we've invented a lot of things. Black people have invented a lot of things that the white man uses. I get all of that. But it's not about what we invented in the past. It's about what we're doing now in real time. And in real time, we are losing. And we aren't producing anything. And we have entirely too much conflict amongst each other. In order for us to unify and go where we need to go, we have to start enacting resolution. White people don't like each other, but they will resolute with each other to achieve a particular goal. Black people won't even do that. If I was to tell y'all right now who all of y'all are beefing, right? If I was to jump in the middle of all the black people that's beefing and say, hey, wait a minute, guys, we need to get $500,000 over to this black school right away to save these black children. How many of them will stop beefing with each other and come together and do that? Some will. Many won't. Many will continue. Matter of fact, a lot of them will tell you to shut the fuck up or tell you why the fuck you go do it and get right back to beefing. Some of them will catch an attitude that you jumped in the middle of their beef. Now, some will go with you and say, okay, let's do it. But many won't. And that's the problem. We have to get to the many that won't. We have to find a way to start resoluting with them, even if there are. Now, understand, some crimes are unforgivable. I get it. We're only human, right? Some of us just can't get past certain things that people do. And I truly understand that. And no one's asking you to, especially if somebody has molested a child or something like that. You know, crimes like that are just unforgivable. Okay? And we would just have to chalk those people up as dead weight, cut them loose. But other people who have committed crimes against us, transgressions against each other, we could find a way to resolute with them and use them and say, hey, I understand that you have an issue with so-and-so and so-and-so, but here's the deal. We need you to help us go forward, and we need the other person also to help us go forward. So we'll keep you guys away from each other, and we need you down here on this front, and we need you on this front, and we need you guys working to help us move forward. And this is the kind of mentality that we have to develop. We have to be able to resolute with our brothers and sisters. Because at the end of the day, when our enemy trains their guns in our direction, they are gunning for every last one of us. They don't care who has what name. They don't give a damn about who doxed each other. They don't care about any of that. That's why we have to enact a resolution amongst ourselves, because we are all targets of our enemy. Right now, we are targets of each other and targets of our enemy as well. Like I said, our enemy doesn't stop fighting us simply because we're fighting each other. Some people think the enemy is taking a break while we're going after each other. He's not doing that. He's still fighting us too. He's trying to speed up the process of us knocking each other off. And we are helping, because that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're over here knocking the hell out of each other. We're putting each other's families in jeopardy. I just had a situation, a pretty bad situation with a brother, you know. I'm not going to hash what that, went down. Me and that brother had an issue trying to conflict resolute. Both of us were unwilling to yield. And that's wrong. See, I take responsibility for the part I play in everything. Not being able to resolute with that brother on my behalf is wrong on my behalf. I've allowed my anger to get the best of me and cloud my vision of something greater for us, which is us standing together, unified, and progressing as one people. What's up, August Dreams? So I have to be able to improve myself so I can start to resolute with my brothers and sisters, the ones I may have conflict with. And that's what we are about at the Earthen Nation, conflict resolution. Understand, we don't have any allies. No one is coming to save us. No one is coming over here to say, hey, stop bothering those Black people. No one is coming over here with a boatload of money and say, hey, throw that money in the Black community. No one is coming to do that. Everybody is waiting their turn to make money off of us while we are fighting each other, and many of us are going broke, having issues getting jobs. Some of us are in positions to hire other Black people and won't do it because we have some kind of personal issue. Other races do not do that. They solve their conflicts to the best of their ability because they understand in order to stay in power, you must have unity. One of the quickest ways that empires fall is that the people become invested in themselves and start to have their own ideologies that go against the mainstream ideology, the breaking up of the unity. And then they start to become separated within that one empire. And before you know it, factions start to form. And then once they start to get a little steam and get power, they start fighting against the main ideology. And this is what helps bring the empire to its knees. Some of the greatest and largest empires in this world fell from infighting and not being able to have resolutions to their conflict and maintain unity. The Persian Empire became its own enemy. See, I don't believe in getting big. I believe in getting stronger. See, when you get too big, it gets to the point where it's out of your scope of control, no matter what you do. That's a recipe for disaster. When you have too many people and the area is just too big, factions can form quickly. Factions with huge numbers can form quickly and tear down your empire from within. So I don't necessarily believe in getting big. I believe in just getting stronger. You can have 50,000 people, right? But they can be as strong as hell. Hannibal was one of the greatest generals the world has ever seen. These strategies are still studied today by modern minds, or so-called advanced minds. When people read the story of Hannibal, they read it for the glory. They hardly ever read it for the strategic maneuvers that were amazing. They hardly read it to appreciate how well trained and how well organized his army was. He defeated 80,000 soldiers with 30,000 men. See, that's what I mean by being strong. See? Outnumbered by 50,000 men. And defeated them and took minimal casualties. He took casualties, he took a couple of thousand casualties, but defeated 80,000 men, and he did it with quality soldiers, smart soldiers. Strategic placement of soldiers, well-timed attacks, formations, and took out 80,000 soldiers. And I believe later on he defeated 50,000. I believe he defeated 50,000 with 15,000. My numbers may be a little bit off. This is what I mean by being strong. See, I'd rather be strong than to be big. Because you're big doesn't mean that you are strong. And the bigger you become, the harder it is to maintain unity. You have to have a core, a power core in place that is uncorruptible, and that is hard to maintain. One of the reasons why the United States hasn't fallen yet is because they spread themselves out in different countries, and they have small areas in different countries that they control. The United States is a big power machine with many, many working parts, many, many tentacles that reach worldwide. And the United States also have a core intact. The federal government that has that has endless resources and endless manpower. But even now, that has been challenged. Many will tell you now, even if my colleague, my young brother, Commander Cerulean Gray, will come out here and tell you that America has lost empire. Despite having the power and the influence that they have around the world, it will tell you that they've lost empire. And that there are other countries all pushing their way into power, such as China. China right now can't be stopped. They are a juggernaut. Going to war with China will cost us dearly. So resolution is being attempted on a large scale with China and other countries. So Black people, the conflict that we have can be resolved with resolution. We have to attempt resolution with each other, even though we may feel emotionally uh, indifferent about each other, or emotionally charged towards one another with hatred. We have to find a way to break through that and create a resolution. We have to step back and take a look at ourselves and say, okay, what are we doing here? How are we going to get forward as a people if I continue to fight people that look like me? If I continue to threaten people that look like me? If I continue to kill people that look like me? Every time I kill someone that looks like me, who am I helping? I'm helping my enemy, who's actually still fighting me while I'm killing one of my own. While I'm killing one of my own, he's trying to kill both of us. So we have to start adopting the mentality of resolution. There's just entirely too much conflict. And these conflicts are rising and they're getting out of control. We have to start enacting and practicing resolution before we start to commit self-genocide. We're headed that way. See, we're laughing when people are hurting. We're laughing with when people's families are being put on display and they are being humiliated and embarrassed in front of all of us on social media. Some of us are chuckling about that because maybe we don't like that person. Some of us think that it's okay because they feel that the person did it to someone else and they're now getting what they deserve. But at the end of the day, when you look at the overall scheme of things, who's really getting hurt? We are. Because even though the people who are being doxxed, right, are getting what they deserve, they are still Black people. There are still Black people that we're going to lose. That means our numbers will drop. Now, you have to have some size. You can't get by without being somewhat big. Too big is no good. But you can get to a very comfortable size. And then once you get to that comfortable size, then you concentrate on becoming strong. We still lose numbers. When we take each other down, we lose numbers. Understand that our fight is on a larger scale, and our enemy has manpower. He has soldiers. We just have ourselves. And we can't afford to lose numbers. I understand some people Can anybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Somebody type a one in the chat or something like that. Just had a, I'm sorry, my internet just dropped momentarily. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, you see, YouTube, when you aren't talking about killing each other or hurting other Black people, they tend to mess with your stream. Okay. See, they don't want me trying to help my people change their mentality. See, they don't want me to love my people. They don't want me to not want to see my people hurt each other. So when we come out in sincerity and we are trying to promote a more positive mentality amongst our people, they tend to mess with your stream. You know, they screw up the algorithm that freezes the screen, and they do all kinds of little irky things to try to discourage these kinds of broadcasts. But I will continue. The We are, I believe, at our core, we are a benevolent people, that we aren't a violent people. But we've been made to be violent because many of us, when we were children, our minds were programmed with poisonous rhetoric of hatred, discontent, mistrust, misdirection, dishonesty. And obedience. I tell people all the time that if you've been taught since childhood to go to school, go to college, you know, get an education, to get a job, that you've been programmed by white supremacy, that that mentality doesn't even belong to you. You have actually become a archetype that was created by the rhetoric of white supremacy, and your real personality has been arrested and has been under siege by the poison that's been programmed in your mind since you were a child. And usually it's been put there by your parents because they were also brainwashed. It is a slave mentality. No other race teaches their children these things. I've lived among other races. I've broken bread with them. I've lived among Japanese people, Filipino people. I lived among African people, different types of people. They do not teach their children these things. Jews do not teach their children to go to school and get an education. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. 1 second. I'm going to play a little music. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.
People keep on learning, and soldiers keep on walking. World keep on turning, 'cause it won't be too long. Power keep on lying, while your people, oh, they keep on dying. Oh, but well, oh, got to keep on turning. Okay, I'm back. I have some repairs going on in my home, so there may be some background noise. So let me continue. So, like I was saying, conflict and resolution. Resolution should be what we are striving for. What's going on, Kylie Jane? Hoorah to you. Sorry about the interruptions, people. I have some repairs going on in my home right now. So bear with me. Hey, Kylie Jane, how are you? Yeah, I'm talking a little bit about conflict resolution. So, is it broken?
It needs a limit switch, but I'm looking at the washer first.
Okay.
I know what's wrong with this one. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm just bringing him out of the way.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, people. I have construction going on in my home. I'm not sure if I'll be able to finish the stream. I might have to cut it and restart it again here shortly. As my attention is being taken away from the stream right now because there are repairs going on. Christina Williams, how are you? But like I was saying before, when you're making sense and you're trying to do something right, the stream is always interrupted. But when you're out here hog calling, threatening to kill each other, and things of that sort, the stream works fine without interruption because this is allowed. This is done deliberately. But when we're talking about resolution, all of a sudden the stream starts to go haywire. Things start to happen like you lose sound. And we also have to be more Okay, well, listen. Forgive me, but I have to cut this stream. I have some repairs going on. Let me get the repairs done with the repairman, and I will fire up the stream again. We'll do a conflict resolution part 2 here shortly, or a continuation. So I'll see you then.